very good morning to you and welcome to K24 this morning. It's Thursday and you know what we do every single time at exactly 10 o'clock. It's time to discuss your relationship. And today we want to focus on divorce. We've spoken about marriage. We've spoken about dating, finding Mr. Right, finding Mrs. Right, finances in your marriage. But you know, they do say that some good things do actually come to an end, and we have to talk about this particular situation. What leads to the divorce? Is it the fact that there's misunderstanding? Is it the fact that maybe you got into it in a rush? Is it because you guys don't love each other? That is why today I do have Pastor Julius and Pastor Jane to have this discussion. Sorry, but before we get into that one, let's look at our question of the day. What is the most common reason for divorce? What is the most common reason for divorce? Find us on SMS number 21222, Facebook and Twitter at K24TV. You can also WhatsApp us on your screen. The number is right there. We would love to hear from you in regards to that. Also, let us know where you're calling us from, where you're watching from, and of course your name. And let's get interactive as far as this conversation is concerned. So, allow me to introduce my people. Pastor Julius, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. I thank God for this opportunity.
Right.
And also good to see you.
Leo naka kama kaboeka high school. Unajua the nice red sweater. Do we call it cardigan? The cardigan. Alafu trao.
Kujiremind tu. Unajua sometimes you want to go back the days unakumbuka vile ulikuwa unaambiwa vai tie, vaa sweater. Na unakaa smart.
Na leo umeka mna Prince mwenyewe.
Yuko hapo.
Madam Principal, how are you doing? Have you guys been since last
week? Blessed, thank God.
Right.
Cannot complain.
Let us talk about divorce and talk about some of the things like we've been asking the audience. What are some of the common reasons for divorce? And I'm sure a majority of our audience right now, especially the single ones, wanafikiria me, if my man cheats on me, ninamwacha. But starting with you, Dr. Jane, what is the most common reason for divorce?
We have several, Mr. Mbuvi, and we try at times to classify them based on which is more repetitive in the cases, which is repeated more often. And I think one of the most repetitive now is money.
Really?
Yes.
Money is now a cause of divorce?
Yeah, you know, things change per season.
Right.
When we've been having a very tough season, that again now, you know, the economy in the world was not very good before even the corona.
Right.
There was a lot of job loss and everything. And then now the corona happened. So what happens? The crisis of money has been a crisis in marriages. So you find some of them, when you listen to the root cause, it is falling to money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pasi, maybe you have a different opinion, because that to me was a shocker. I thought money was one of the reasons, but not the main reason.
The main reason. Now, I'll say this. Of course, when you talk about money being one of them, there are factors that play. And I will just mention that, you know, what happens is that when it comes to money, you find it is not the amount, but it is how one views the money.
Okay.
Now, for some men, is when they receive more money, they see the essence of adding items.
Okay.
And some of the items they add is probably ampango, because they look at the ability to purchase things. So they go for that.
Okay.
Now, on the side of the women, they look at it as something that gives them more power. So if it was something that they were oppressed in that relationship, or they interpret submission as slavery,
right,
then they see now I don't need to be controlled anymore. I'm free, and so I can have my independence.
Yes.
And that kind of an issue can bring the divorce. Now, we also mention about infidelity. Of course, that's another major one.
Right.
Because when another party comes into a relationship, then, of course, that destabilizes any marriage. And if you are not strong, that will lead to divorce. Because
I'd imagine maybe a lot of women, if we're still talking about money issues, a lot of women would leave a man because he's not financially stable. So that means for them, they don't see security in their future. They'll probably leave a man because Ujama maybe anatumia money in the wrong ways. But I would expect that to happen before marriage. Because you already know tabia za mtu. Unajua ngo ni mse spendthrift, or ni mse amesota, so why get into the marriage in the first place? Or unajua ni mse wa madem. Every time mwisho wa mwezi mshahara ikiingia, Jamana disappear.
Yeah, actually, it is about the changes that money brings in somebody's character.
Right.
It brings the real you. You know, when most people are getting married, they're humble, they're good, very straight, everything is in order.
Right.
Until perhaps God opens a door and somebody has got some purchase power. And the purchase power changes the character.
Right.
And that's why you hear people saying, so-and-so nowadays is very arrogant, does not have time for me. Why? Because money gave him the power to be with the boys, quote unquote, to be with whoever they want to be. And perhaps for the women, it gave them the fear of this man is not investing. Women especially are glued a lot about security.
Okay.
So what is happening to many women? Most women are investing secretly. And I can tell you that for a fact.
Yes.
And so many men get to learn, and some of them, that even the houses that they're living in and they pay rent
are owned by the wife.
Is actually owned by the wife. I've had 2 cases. And so you can tell me, how are they going to live in that house again? So you discover that if money is not disciplined, it will govern your life. And the issue is not about you having money. The issue is about money having you.
Okay.
As a couple, because it will govern you into different directions. So later you hear these people have split. Why? This one claims the other didn't have, perhaps as pastor says, Adultery says, this one is not submissive, or the other one amasses so much power because of the money, and now he expects a different kind of a relationship, which is like a martyr. Now I'm the man. I bring home. So when I come here, you don't have a voice. And so it's broken so many people on the inside.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when they get a channel out, you discover that it has broken so many people. And I'm sad to say that a lot of the people who are taking the initiative to break out are the women.
Okay.
It's not the men. The men will never leave their wives because now the men have gotten more money. They just purchase Ampango.
Yeah.
And they, you know, those are purchased. And they also purchase a slay queen. They've got a price tag. You get what I'm saying? They've got a price tag. So, and as long as that all let us some money, and nikama is steam, as long as tokens are there, you are relevant. Tokens ikisha, they are purchased by another. So what I'm saying is, that does not cause a man to leave, but it causes women to leave.
Actually, let me come to you because it's an interesting perspective, that one, indeed, because even when things are tight, even when things are really hard, even when your husband has cheated or you discover that your wife owns the house that you're paying rent, isn't there a solution? Can't we just sit and talk about this infidelity, for example, and then we decide not to go our separate ways? Can't we talk about, okay, nimekuwa nikikulipa rent. First of all, that was wrong. Lakini, hiyo pesa sasa nimediscover, thank God, sijakuwa nikitupa. Can't we talk?
You see, the thing is, I think ukiangalia foundation a divorce, any couple that divorces, that means they have not come to a place of agreement whereby they have an open conversations. Because rarely do you find people who are divorcing having probably gone for help somewhere. Because some of the things that we are not able to solve, you can consult a third party. Just like the way when you are sick, or maybe you have a child who is sick, you don't throw the child away. You go to a hospital and you maybe consult a doctor and they're able to help you.
Yes.
I believe if people were to be humble enough and sit down with a counselor who can be able to give them a different view, there could be a solution.
Let's answer a call from Kagwema in Limuru. Kagwema, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Bubi.
Mimi niko salama sana, Kagwema. What is your question or comment?
My comment, congratulations to the wonderful James for the discussion which is going on.
Yes.
But I want to say that the rising causes of divorce is nothing else but referring to it to a marriage vow. Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Referring to it to a marriage vows. You know, people are ready to recite vows they thought, which are dictated by Europeans somewhere in the West.
Right.
But I'll rather be in the worst times, in the good times when you are sick, when you are rich, when you are poor, and that's just arrive.
Right.
Because the whole world people are just acting.
Right.
You are just acting. So it's better for people to try their own vows. That if we become poor, I'll leave you. If you grow old,
Oh, he was bringing a very important point there. Thank you, Kagwema, by the way, for that contribution. Awesome. I get where you're going. And he has brought up the issue of vows, because if you look at the vows that we take in church, for better, for worse, richness and in poverty, in sickness and in health, and also Pia, I know even traditional, like in our culture in Kikamba, I know that there are certain things that we are told before you actually now acquire this woman to be your wife. There's the ceremony that takes place. There's the animal that you sacrifice, and you're told to give the wazes a drink, and you tell them that I give you this drink in honor of this particular ceremony, and I promise you that I'm to have kuitapika because nimekosana no mwanamke. So there are vows involved.
True.
But we are not willing to take them to the full length of the letter.
Let me say this. Any marriage will not succeed without commitment. Just like when you take a job, there are agreements that you make, and you say, I will report here from 8 to 5 p.m., I will not steal from this organization. And when they are broken, then you may find yourself losing a job.
Right.
Now, people, I think, as he has said, even if the vows are there, and I'm not saying they're bad, but I think there is also that aspect that people don't take those vows seriously. In fact, I think on a wedding day, when many people are making that vow, they are thinking about the evening. They're not even thinking about what they're saying there. At that time, a lot of excitement is there, but most people don't sit down to consider and think. Now, let's assume my wife becomes, or my husband becomes very poor. Because you have said for rich or for poor.
Yeah.
If they really become seriously poor and they probably never get another job in their life, will I stick in there? Many people don't process that. Number two, I think also we need to rethink and probably change some of these vows. Because what you confess will come.
Okay.
Death and life is in the power of our tongue. So the moment you declare for rich or for poor, you have already given room for poverty to come. For sickness and for when in health. You have already told some sickness, we welcome you into our home. I wish you would say that for good health and even for better health, because there are people who are dying without ever tasting sickness.
It's true.
There are people who will die without ever tasting poverty.
Right.
So I think we need to change some of those confessions.
Okay.
And also, maybe finally, is also to look at, are we ready for each other? Have we looked at every issue that may come? And how will we weather the storm? Discuss about adultery. Because what will you do in case adultery comes? Let this man know that if you commit adultery against me,
it's a wrap.
I will not stay with you. If somebody gets into marriage knowing the consequences that may happen for doing 1 or 2, 3 things, then they will be consider whether they want to be in that thing.
Pastor Jane, what he's saying, quite interesting indeed, in regards to us saying that for good health or for better health, for riches or for tycoonness, what the reality on the ground, I know it was because look, no one saw 2020 coming. No one saw Corona coming.
Right.
So assuming we had said for sickness, or rather for health or for better health, then Corona comes. Does it mean that I leave you? What if you happen to contract HIV, and not because you are, you are cheating, but because you did some blood transfusion that went wrong?
Right.
What happens now?
I think the basic is this, and especially for those who are not yet married, I would like to say, marry a friend who you can weather the storms of life with. Because the storms of life go to any person. And in every marriage, start by creating friendship if there was no friendship. And avoid boredom. Because boredom will kill that friendship very quickly. So that when anything happens, yes, we do not want to predict it with our mouths. But the reality on the ground is that in case it happens, you are dealing with a friend, number one. The way you'll not let down a friend is that you'll still hold on to this friend. So I think the perspective of marriage has to have its 2 dimensions.
Right.
There's a romantic aspect of a marriage, and there's a friendship and partnership. Friendship, partnership, and romantic. Most people get married with only the romantic in heart. When challenges come and it cannot be sustained, they want out.
Ngoja tu kidogo. Elizabeth from Rongai is on the line. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning, Bobby.
Mimi niko salama sana, Elizabeth. What is your question or comment?
Mimi nasema hivi.
Marriages
kusema ukweli.
Elizabeth, hebu rudia tena alafu uongeze sauti, sikusikii vizuri.
Nasema marriage zingine from the word devil. Zinakuwaga ziko
kwa nini?
Kwa sababu unaweza ukapata wewe huna experience just land kwa mali mwingine hapo not know about it
Okay, I think we're having a problem on that line. Probably Elizabeth, allow me to ask you to call us back again. Sauti yako iko na shida kidogo.
Ni sawa.
Aya, alafu ukitupigia simu tafadhali reduce the volume ya TV yako ndio tuweze kuelewana. Yes, you were saying.
Yeah, so I was saying, I don't think there's anything in marriage that cannot be mended. It's unfortunate that nowadays it has become like a trend to divorce. And then later on, when they divorce, and they're actually divorced, and they realize it's not drama, they discover it's now not easy. Yes, there are issues that you can tell somebody, this one has gone beyond. Perhaps you're physically abused, you've tried counseling, it is not working, this guy has kept beating you, or even your wife keeps beating you, and you realize one day I might lose my life. It's okay, leave that person. Or this person has been so unfaithful, you've tried to have a conversation, it's not working. I think people need to take time before they can have a conversation of divorce, because we've handled cases of people who have gone through divorce, and especially children of divorce, that has left them so deeply scarred that it takes them long to heal.
Okay, let's check out WhatsApp as well. We're asking you, what are some of the common reasons for divorce? Have you gone through divorce yourself? Let us know your experience. Hello, just realized my husband was cheating on me during my pregnancy. To date, my baby is 7 months. He is saying he values his family, but I feel like quitting. He is so good at providing, but emotional not there. Please help on what to do, okay? Causes are money, source of power, and especially when a woman has money, she doesn't respect and is not ready to part ways. And is ready to part ways rather. Lack of responsibility for the head of the family. Alcoholism, it kills the strength of manhood. Number 4, side deals. Number 5, family structure and core values. Number 6, lack of reproduction. And that is Enoch, Serem, Nandi Hills. Okay. Especially hapo kwa mtu mwenye hataki kuzaa watoto. Hi, I am Lydia, and I think divorce isn't an easy process to deal because it's emotionally draining when parents decide to go separate ways. It's the kids that suffer the most, and that's why when these children grow, they decide not to get married or vice versa because of what they saw while growing up. Most people decide to divorce probably because they entered into marriage with the so much expectations which end up not being fulfilled. Tuko na mtu kwenye simu. Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
James, habari yako?
Niko salama kabisa.
What is your question?
Yes, yeah, sure. I want to say this. There are many reasons that cause divorce.
Right.
And since I do counseling in this area, I would like just to say that the most prevalent, according to my research,
yes,
is that men say that they are disrespected.
Okay.
In fact, 80% of the respondents say that they divorced because the wife was very disrespectful. Okay. Of course, there are other reasons. But just to sum it all, I would want to say this, that I have realized that most people will divorce because initially there was no unity of purpose.
Okay.
So they did not actually focus on where they wanted to go. There was the heat of the moment at the time.
Yes.
So they were doing it maybe because their friends are doing it, they are feeling there is the social status aspect, but there is no unity of purpose, which I would find as the vision, the mission. I know then they set the values to attain that. So in a nutshell, that's what I wanted to say. And maybe with time, I've even written a book concerning such issues.
Yes, James.
And maybe one time you'll also even give me time to contribute. I mean, further. So
no problem. Okay, thank you very much, James.
Okay.
All right. Respect, very important aspect there, because sometimes we usually say that it's the woman who leaves because the man is one who's cheating, but also some men do feel disrespected. Yeah.
Yeah, true. The thing is, everybody gets into marriage with expectations. But there are those basic foundations. Like, for example, if you want to build a building, ya mawe, ni lazima foundation iwe strong, na huwezi tumia mchanga. So, there are basic foundation when it comes to marriage. And that is what we call respect and also affection for ladies.
Right.
Now, if those ones are missing, definitely that will bring stability in that marriage. Now, when it comes to a level of chronic disrespect, then a man feels that this atmosphere I cannot be able to stay in.
Right.
Then most likely he may opt out. Because there's a level where you find who you are is not, it's not becoming because of the way you're treated in that place. You find you're being abused before children, you're being told stuff that you don't feel like you're thriving. The same thing can happen to the women, where if she feels that the core of being loved or being given the right attention is not happening. Now, that can cause somebody to go out. But I say this again. Those are things that any human being can learn.
Yes.
If you are to sit down and sincerely go through a section or a moment of counseling and be prepared, you can grow to it. We have seen marriages which were at the brink of divorce. We have seen couples come to our office saying, we are coming to hear if there is anything you can tell us, otherwise you have already made up our mind. By the time they are living there, they have renewed their temperance towards their relationship.
Nice.
So I'm saying that there is nobody who cannot survive a marriage if only you have the tools. What is lacking in a lot of relationships are tools. Secondly, there are people who are not ready to go for those tools. Because you can have food on the table, and you can have all the spoons around there, and you still die of starvation if you refuse to take a steps toward that, the food, and you start to eat it. So preparation is key.
There's a lady here, Dr. Jane, who said that she found out rather that the husband has been cheating, ever since she was pregnant, and now the child is 7 months old, and this is when she's finding out, and she's like, "We, hapa hivi ni kunoma." Do you think, first of all, that's a marriage that has a future?
No, it does not have a future. There are things. No, listen to me. This is their first child.
Yes.
All right?
We are assuming it's their first child.
Yes. 7 months down the line. My concern for that case study is that the man is not remorseful. The man should say, I will stop. I did this, I did the wrong thing, but I'm ready to stop, I'm ready to change. There is no change of character. There is no change of conviction. But he's a good provider, and that's all that works for her. And of which she can provide for herself. I do not say that they divorce. This is not the word I can ever use. At times I talk of a partial separation. Because already this man has another person. At times, men, you want to be fought for. But you stay there, I'm having a campango, it's okay. But I really have a lot of heart for this, my home. And then you go there and you're busy having fun with your wanchiko. Give me a break.
Yeah?
Decide.
Aye. Dr. Julius, do you think this marriage has a future?
No, she has said something. He says, this guy says he values his family.
Yes.
And I will say something. You don't say you value something and then you throw it anyway. Because nobody who has, especially something like gold, will place it even in the sitting room carelessly. Because you value it. You place it in a different place, secure. Now, if you value your family, you can't be cheating on your wife.
Yes.
Especially when now she's pregnant, because she's carrying even something else now. Something that you have put in there. Two valuable things, and you're mistreating them. Which man will go kicking their vehicles and throwing stones at the windows and start breaking your car if you value it? And that's what cheating does. You're actually breaking your own wife. You're breaking your own husband if you are a woman and you're cheating on her. Don't use words. Value is action. There is no word that comes in marriage that does not follow action. If you say you love your wife, let there be some action. If you say you respect your husband, let there be some action. If you say that you enjoy being with your husband or with your wife, then show it by spending time with them. So there are no empty words. There are no empty words when it comes to marriage. Every word is action.
I want to reach out to the gentlemen out there who are even cheating. let's talk about why you're actually doing it, so we can understand. Maybe there's a reason as to why you're doing this. You can let us know. Our lines are definitely open for you. Our WhatsApp line as well, SMS line 21222. We're taking a short break, but we'll be right. Do we have a caller? Oh, before we take a break, let's talk to Daniel. Daniel, good morning.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well.
What is your question or comment, Daniel?
Oh, my comment is that the pastor is saying something very good.
Okay.
Because most people get into marriages because of immorality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so people do not normally consider this is a lifetime responsibility.
Yes.
So they are very much right to say that when you want to get into a marriage,
mm-hmm.
you should know that it is a lifetime responsibility and should not joke with it.
Yes.
That is my comment.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel. He has mentioned commitment, but it's a lifetime commitment. Like I said, we're taking that short break, but when we return, of course, respond to Daniel, and of course, a lot of your WhatsApp messages coming through. We'd like to thank you. Let us know your name and your location so that we can know who we're talking to. Usiende mbali.